Theo Dorsey here with head coach of Jensen Beach High School, Tim Caffey, coming fresh off of a week 1 win and going into week 2, where Jensen Beach enters the high school game day game of the week against Treasure Coast. You get the game at home, but before we get into that matchup, Coach Caffey, how you feeling coming off a kickoff classic and a successful week 1?
Well, we're doing okay. We're a little banged up a little bit, but it's that time of year. We don't ever carry a large roster, so our kids they give optimum effort, and you can expect this type of things to happen. But we feel good about it. Win's a win, and you'll take them no matter how they come. We knew that the game against Centennial, the big, strong, physical, 7-18. We knew that was going to be a tough one. And then you go right around, turn around, and you play a crosstown rival, which, you throw out the records. You don't worry about what's happened in the past. You knew that was going to be a physical game, too. So, we're about as where I thought we were going to be. We should be a little bit healthier for the Treasure Coast game, and we're going to see what happens.
What's it been like just for you this year? What's the biggest change for the Falcons? What's been the biggest evolution for y'all this offseason coming into this season?
Probably trying to break in a new quarterback, dealing with a brand new offensive line. We didn't have a lot of returners on the offensive side of the ball, so we're trying to, mesh and gel and see what we have on that side of the ball. So that's been, something that we've been trying to work on to make sure we have a cohesive unit on the offensive side. We have more returners on the defensive side of the ball, so we're pretty solid over there. But just trying to mesh on the offensive side and find our niche and find out what we do best.
Speaking of like the defensive side of the ball, last year when y'all played Treasure Coast, it was a defensive struggle, a 9-7 finish. You came out on top. What do you remember about that game, and what do you kind of carry with you from that one, since that was y'all's first time meeting in about 4 or 5 years?
Well, I tell you what, playing Irv and that crew, man, getting prepared for that offense. It's like I always contribute to like fighting Joe Frazier in a phone booth. You know what I mean? It's left hook, left hook, left hook, right, body blow. So you have to survive it. And, if you're not prepared for it, it's going to be a physically demanding game. No matter what, no matter what Herb says, he'll pour mouth you a little bit and say he's young. We're young too, but I know they're going to come out, and run their offense. They're always going to be physical. They're always going to be well coached. That's the thing that I remember about, playing that game, that it was a physical game, and we're fortunate to come out on top last year.
What was the difference last year for you?
Defensively, we prepared for it. We did have some guys that, were older who had played against that style of offense before, and we had played a few teams, in our camp that we went to in the springtime. So it kind of prepared us for it. So our guys had a general idea, and they knew it was going to be physical. You got to buckle your chin strap and tighten up your shoulder pads, and put your mouthpiece in and be ready to go, because they're going to bring it.
Tim Cappy here joining me, head coach of Jensen Beach High School, ahead of the game day game of the week. That's going to be at home. What is it like to be able to have them actually at the birdcage, though? So it's easier. I don't want to say it's easier, but it's always better to be able to play a game like that in front of your home fans.
Yes, you have the home fans behind you. Hopefully they give you some momentum. It's probably going to be, we should have a nice crowd, because, it's Treasure Coast. They travel really well, and it's a close game, close proximity. We don't have to travel too far. It's always good to play at home, because you don't have to worry about travel and the time. You come down to the stadium, you can have your normal routine when you have a home game. So we're fortunate to have them in the birdcage.
I'm curious on your behalf, because it just kind of crossed my mind. Most of the longer tenured coaches in this area are out in the Treasure Coast, between yourself, Rod at Martin County, Irv at Treasure Coast, Lenny at Vero Beach. What is it about the 772 to where y'all are able to stick around, build a program, and be committed to a school? What just seems like in the 561, it's an evolving coaching carousel left and right.
Well, in our area, I think we have a little bit different dynamic of kids. These kids are not, up until recently, you have a few transfers, but most of these kids are willing to play against each other. You know what I mean? They grow up playing with each other. And then when they go to their prospective schools, they want to compete against each other. They're not worried about trying to build a super team. They're like, hey, dude, I want to beat you. That helps too with the kids that, their loyalty. And as far as coaching is concerned, I like being where I am. I've been here for a while. This is actually my 31st year coaching totally on the Treasure Coast. So it's one of those type of things that you get used to the kids, the kids. Now I'm coaching kids that are sons of the kids that I coached, earlier. So I'm getting a little bit long in the tooth right here. That's why I got all this gray hair. But I feel fortunate to still be doing it. And I think the other coaches will probably tell you something similar. It's just a familiarity. The kids are, the majority of them are loyal, and they understand what you're asking them to do, and they're willing to do it.
Speaking of, how do you rate what you have this year with Jensen Beach? Again, you said it was a lot of newcomers because of the amount of turnover and the amount of seniors you had last year, but you've gotten to see multiple games out of your team. You've also obviously been with them all off season. Are y'all right on schedule with where you would like to see them?
Well, I think we're, about on schedule. Defensively, I think we're a little bit behind offensively, which, like I said before, I kind of expected that. I don't like to compare teams, to be honest with you, because each team has its own identity. But I will say the identity of this team, we do have a lot of skilled kids. I could say that on both sides of the ball, meaning, we got some slots, some receivers. Our defense, our secondary is pretty good. So, some of our skilled kids are, pretty good. And we have some kids that are learning on the offensive line, starting to do a little bit better. We did a little bit better last game, so for us, it's still a work in progress. But the identity is still on the defensive side of the ball. We're 11 men to the ball. They're coming at you, every single play. Offensively, we want to make you play against us, not us play against you.
Are you expecting more or less points on the scoreboard than 16 grand total between again two teams that generally the identity of both you and Treasure Coast is you're pounding the rock and defensively you're stout. So it's hard to ever predict anything less than 16 points in a football game. But with these two programs, I'm like, I mean, we could be coming for a repeat.
Hey, I don't care what the score is. It could be 2-0, 3-0, 5-4. I don't care. As long as we come out on top, I'm happy with it. I don't like to try to, you know, worry about what we're going to do as far as putting up points or what they're going to do. What we try to do is win. What we're going to do, whatever it takes to win.
As entertaining as 51 to 50 generally is, if y'all can figure out how to get 5-4, I want to be there to see it.
Hey,
um,
you never know, man, with Irvin, his defense, and our guys and our defense, you just never know. So
that'd be like
it could happen.
a field goal and three safeties is
Yeah, yeah. Hey, never say never.
Coach, what needs to happen? What's the number one priority that needs to happen for your team, for Jensen Beach this week, and then specifically on Friday night for y'all to walk out of there with a win?
We can't have we can't have the penalties. Can't have turnovers. Can't have the penalties. We have to clean up the penalties. A team like Treasure Coast, you give them good field position, you'll never see the ball again. Even if you don't give them good field position, if they get rolling with that offense, you'll never see the ball. You'll look up and they'll have the ball the whole first, second, third quarter. They'll run the clock out. So we can't have that many penalties. We have to take advantage of the opportunities that are given to us, and we have to play stout defense. We have to make them feel uncomfortable in what they do. And they're going to try to do the same thing to us. I understand that. That's the way the game is played. But we still, we have to make sure we take care of the penalties. We have way too many penalties, way too many. So, our focus this time is, take care of the penalties.
Look, I can't wait to see it. It's going to be the high school game day game of the week. We'll have CCAT, the coach Jimmy Bell in there, play by play. We'll have the live stream up on ESPN West Palm's YouTube channels and that. So it's going to be a big show, and looking forward to seeing what comes between the Falcons and Treasure Coast out there, man.
Hey, I appreciate, you guys being here, man. You always do an outstanding job of showcasing these kids, and we really appreciate it.
We appreciate it as well. Good luck on Friday night, and thanks again for joining us.
All right. Thank you.